Hello, good evening, and welcome to the weather update. It's 9:30 on December 26th, 2022, and you see the clouds kind of came in today. The morning was clear, but then around noon, we started seeing those high clouds come in, and it got overcast for a while, as you see here. So you do see those clouds that will be with us tonight. Temperatures similar to yesterday. So this is what we got. Upper 20s out there right now. I'm not seeing any radiational cooling, but it looks like in New Jersey there is, a little bit of radiational cooling there in New Jersey, 21 at Coyle Field. But other than that, everybody's pretty much in the mid to upper 20s. Let's look at our highs and lows for the day. We'll start off with the lows. And it looks like it got down to 9. If the conditions were a little more optical and those a little more not optical, ideal, we would have seen temperatures near zero, but or should I say optimal is the word I'm thinking of, but we didn't. But looks like West Hampton also got down to 9, so there was a little bit of radiational cooling this morning, but everybody else was pretty much in the upper teens, mid and upper teens, except in the Pine Barrens where it was a little colder than that. High temperatures today. Let's see what the highs were today. Still below freezing, right around 30 degrees, pretty much for most of the area. So let's go take a look at the country here. And we're going to pull this out here and just show you the country here. So you can see across the country, I think they're still dealing with this cold weather, even in the south. Yeah, look at this, 27 in Georgia and Atlanta. Look at the northern part of Florida, below freezing. And they've had some pretty cool temperatures in Florida, too. It's been quite cool, even if you go, let's go to Palm Beach. I'm going to find Palm Beach here, if we can find Palm Beach here. We can't, but I think that's PBI. No, that's not PBI. But it's quite cool even down there. It has been. So, I guess we'll pick Boca, all right, which you think is a very warm area. And you'll see upper 50s. Highs were only in the 50s today for Boca. That's it. They've had some rain. The sun hasn't been out. Day before Christmas, only in the 40s. Christmas Eve, they got down to the 40s. Christmas Day, 50s. I mean, barely warm. So that's the kind of weather that they've had there. It's been, like I said, really unusually cool, even far south in Florida, which is, quite unusual. Even in Key West, there 57 degrees, which is crazy. Key West has only been in the 50s today. All right, they got up into the low. That's cold for Key West. Key West is supposed to be tropical, but you can see here that they have had, and they've had the clouds around too. I'm guessing the front has kind of got hung up to the south. Look at I have a lot more observations to look at. So there was some clear skies, but even with the sunshine in Florida, let's see, do they have sunshine or no? They're only clear at night. Only 50s for highs on Christmas Day. That's really chilly for them. Really chilly. Let's see if we can go back to the day before Christmas here, Christmas Eve, and you can see only low 60s. So very unusual to see this kind of weather that far south. Very unusual, and then the further north you go in Florida, I mean, the colder it gets. I mean, you go up toward here, and again, you think of like Palm Bay, for instance, or Melbourne. All right, Melbourne's 52, but I think it got to freezing in Melbourne. Just showing you the crazy. We still got to talk about this crazy cold weather that came. Look at this, 40s. Look at this. It started out in the low 40s in Melbourne. I mean, that's insane. 30s overnight for last night. And then for Christmas Day, highs were only in the 40s. Despite sunshine. See, it says clear here. Highs only in the 40s. So that's it's amazing how deep this cold air mass went. It really is. So look at this here. Here we go again. 30s. Christmas Eve was in the 30s. Christmas Eve day. I mean, very, very chilly weather for Florida. Very chilly. So I figured I would make that. That's just Florida, all right? And then if you go further north, places like Alabama, it's even colder there. I mean, go to places like New Orleans, for instance, where it's 43. All right, this is Houma. This is on the peninsula, but you can see here, look at this, only in the 50s, and then at night they got below freezing. I mean, this is very unusual weather for the Gulf Coast, very unusual, and I'm sure a lot of record minimum highs were set as well as a result of that. And then we have what's going on in Buffalo. Looks like we still have some advisories here. It looks like there's still winter weather advisory in effect for Buffalo. Major disaster up there. Winter storm warning. Still seeing some lake effect, I guess, up there. And then you can see out west we have some, looks like some wind advisories out there. And in the mountains, it looks like we have some avalanche watches. Okay, there's some of that going on. And some winter weather advisories and maybe a few winter storm warnings. We're going to talk about Buffalo here because it's been pretty bad. And, it's kind of interesting because Governor Hochul is from Buffalo, and this is a real test for her, obviously. Look, all right, I'm not a fan of her, but this is a real test for her. First real, elected term as governor, having to deal with these natural disasters. So it's really kind of putting her to the test. I mean, she's doing a decent job with it, obviously. The federal government is helping. So this is just crazy. This is all just crazy stuff. Even New Jersey, Phil Murphy is actually sending a task force one to help with the disaster in Buffalo. Nassau County has sent people. 28 people confirmed dead because the city, they had all this snow, and literally because it just kept coming and coming and coming, and because it was so cold. It's just, so we have unfortunately 28 people who have died in Buffalo. 28 people have died in Erie, well, not just Buffalo, but Erie and Niagara counties. That was the county that was hit very hard, especially Erie County there. This is what it looked like here. The cars finally returned to the roads, but I mean, for a while the roads were just people were just stranded in the storm here. I mean, the roads, everybody just got stuck. The roads were just completely covered in snow and ice. People stuck all over. And even the big vehicles, like fire trucks, emergency vehicles, they couldn't get through either. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. I'll put a link to that article below. So, fortunately, this will ease, for those who don't like the extreme cold. But it will go from being cold to extremely warm. As you'll see here as we look at the long range. So let's get started here with that first of all. Let's go. We'll take this out to the North American region here. And we will look at the jet stream, which, as you see, we still have that trough over the east. You see how deep that trough is. And if we rewind this, you see just how far that trough went to the south. Very unusual to see a trough go that far to the south, but the shape of it is just really weird. So again, you see, it's starting to just narrow up, and then as we get toward the weekend, into the last couple days, you'll start seeing a ridge develop in the east. You'll see there is a trough out west now. The trough is more out west into the Midwest, but you'll see general ridging in the east as we head into January, and some pretty big ridges too, I might add it. But there's a deep trough here. So this is going to make for some interesting, very unusual looking jet stream again. Very unusual. So let's now go to the CONUS view. Actually, I didn't want to. Let's just go to the upper air view here. So here's your upper air view at the end of this week. Still trough for tomorrow, but then you'll start seeing it ease as we get, and then we go. Where you see that ridge by Thursday, that's going to bring in the above normal temperatures. So we go from, again, being very cold to well above normal, which is obviously something we shouldn't see at all. But we will, and you'll see there is a trough in the west. But other than that, no Arctic air coming down at all to speak of right into January here, right into the second week of January there. No Arctic air to speak of. All right, so we had that one Arctic blast and now nothing. It's like, it's crazy. It's not normal at all to see these kind of patterns. So let's go look at, and we all know why it's happening. So now let's go look at our temperature anomaly chart now. So this is tomorrow. You'll see still a little bit below normal. All right, and then as we get into a Wednesday, starting to get above normal and well above normal. This Thursday, Friday, we're going to have some very much above normal records. Probably some record warmth now. And look at all this warmth that we'll be dealing with. Look at this still. The first week of January is could be one of the warmest on records. And then you start seeing the cold air try to come down, but it doesn't make it too far. And we pretty much stay above normal for the month of January. So we had the Arctic blast. We had maybe let's see. We'll see. If you count Friday, we'll count Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So maybe 5 days of cold weather, but then you're going to go through like at least 7 days of very warm weather. So it's just it's like a seesaw. The climate is just in disarray right now. All right. So let me go to the Climate Prediction Center here. So this is your Climate Prediction Center, and you'll see, look at that, deep reds for the east. So we go from very cold to very warm. Look at that. So we're going to be way, way above normal for temperatures. Absolutely insane. So, all the help that we got with controlling insect pests, well, it's going to be out the window now because we're going to have more ridiculous warm weather again. It's just completely nuts. And still no snow here, all right? Even though upstate they've gotten tons, obviously. You're just dealing with a climate in disarray. So let's look at the surface map now. So here's your surface map, and you can see we're under the influence of high pressure, so we stay dry. You'll start seeing that high transition to the southeast. That gives us more of a southwest flow, warmer air, and then our next chance of rain would be looks like a little bit of chance of rain on Saturday, but then it looks like, look at this. Now this is a change. I don't really think this was on the other end of it, was it? Yeah, it's instead of bringing a front through, which it was going to do Saturday night, it now develops a big storm and another ridiculously warm soaker again Sunday, January 1st. So again, we start off January with another soaker. And then as you see here at the patterns, storms go well up into the lakes. We have that ridge, and that's going to just, keep us dealing with these storms, moisture, and no snow and no bitter cold. So, very unusual to see to have this big outbreak, and then all of a sudden, it's like a switch. It's like somebody just switched a switch, and then that's it. Winter's over. You have 5 days of winter. Now it's back to spring. I mean, it's nuts. So let's go take a closer look at our weather now. We'll go to the HRRR. Here's the HRRR run, and you will see here as we go into your Tuesday here, we're no precipitation to speak of. Let's go look at the dew points and wind flow. All right, so you'll see here winds stay from the west. We're still the dry. You see the dew points start to come up a little bit. That bitter, cold Arctic air starts to relent a little bit, as you see. But dry, we have dry air in place. So low dew points means dry air. So we won't have any precipitation at all. Westerly flow, maybe a little more southwesterly on Wednesday. Now let's go to our temperatures here. So here we go into Tuesday. Now, clouds tonight might keep a lid on radiational cooling, but if they clear, we may get some teens and radiational cooling. Otherwise, low 20s for most everybody. Tomorrow, HRRR is saying we're going to be in probably mid-30s. It's going to still be a struggle to make it above freezing. So we still have one more cold day where we're going to have struggle to make it to freezing. Probably highs around between 33 and 35 degrees tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, if we have clear skies, we'll get the radiational cooling, probably teens for the Pine Barrens, and 20s elsewhere. And then for Wednesday, this is when we start to warm up a little more. Now we have temperatures rising into the upper 30s. So interesting that the HRRR seems to have a little bit of a difference from the GFS with these temperatures. GFS is a little more optimal, a little more optimistic about getting above freezing. All right. And then as we move things along, looking at our dew point and wind flow here on the GFS, you'll see we stick with that west-southwesterly wind. So dry air is still in place, so that means we're not going to have any precipitation until we get toward the weekend. And then we're going to start dealing with chances of rain on Saturday. See the southwest wind, and especially Sunday. A big LLJ could wind up coming through and soaking us on Sunday. You can see that deep moisture there. And then as we get into the rest of the month, do have northwesterly flow, but then we have another warm up here Thursday, January 5th, another southwesterly wind. And then behind that, it looks like maybe toward the week of the 7th, we'll have some colder air coming, but not Arctic air, just colder air from Canada. So let's look at our temperatures on here. As we get toward Thursday, you'll start seeing the temperatures rise into the mid to upper 40s. And then as we get toward Friday, we're up into the 50s. At night, it'll probably still get chilly at night, probably, but if the skies stay clear in the wind. But then as we deal with that moisture, then we're going to start keeping that warmth around. Here we are Saturday, and look at Sunday. I mean, it's getting parts of New Jersey. It seems like it's got a front right there, like a warm front there. It's getting parts of New Jersey, upper 60s, close to 70. Absolutely crazy. And then for us, we'll have to see how much of that warm front gets in. Otherwise we'll be dealing with mostly 50s and maybe 60. Behind that front, not much cooler. You can see here we are Monday, still dealing with 50s, upper 40s, well above normal. Look at this, another really warm day again for next Wednesday, where we're going to have 60s, possibly close to 70, especially in Jersey. Look at how hot it is in Jersey, especially. So it's indicating that the window off the wood, it would keep Long Island cooler, but Jersey is going to be quite warm. Here we are Friday, and then finally that heat gets pushed away, but here comes the front, and then I'll knock us into the low 40s, all right? 40s for highs, but having a day even in the 30s doesn't even look likely here at this point, so we're going to be above normal most of these days, because as we get into January, normal high is supposed to be in the upper 30s, so yeah, we're going to be above normal for quite a while, all right? So now we'll go and look at the skies. And here we are for Tuesday, starting off with clouds, then we clear it on out, mostly sunny skies, should have nice skies, and then Wednesday, and then after that, we're going to start dealing with clouds, I think. We'll have to see what happens. It's Friday, Saturday, more clouds, and then we're going to be in kind of a junky pattern after that for a while, especially in the next week. So the first week of January looks pretty cloudy and junky and a little unsettled, maybe playing with a stall front. And again, this is the GFS, which is a lower resolution model. Let me shift over to the RGEM now, which is a higher resolution model. So here we are in the RGEM. You see those are the clouds that came in the night. Tomorrow they get suppressed to the south, and we'll have a mostly sunny day. One mostly sunny winter-like day. One more tomorrow, and then after that, we start moderating. RGEM not as gung-ho on the clouds. It seems like it has less clouds. Wednesday, it doesn't show that many clouds. Thursday, it hardly shows any clouds. So it's interesting. There's a little bit of a difference between this and the GFS. So if I want to use the higher resolution GFS, I have to use this, which is the FV3. All right. So you can see Wednesday, it's definitely more aggressive with these clouds coming in versus the RGEM. So you have a bit of a difference. Let's see what the NAM. The NAM also more aggressive Wednesday with the cloudiness. But tomorrow should be a mostly sunny day, so tomorrow should be pretty nice. So out there, Joy, you want your sunny, windy winter day. That'll be your last day for tomorrow for a while, as these clouds and temperatures start increasing here as we deal with this just messed up pattern that we're going to wind up getting into now, going from this extreme, all the snow up there, and it's going to get so warm again, and then it's going to melt, and there could be flooding. It needs to stay cold. I mean, it doesn't have to stay Arctic cold, but, I mean, we should have highs in the 30s, maybe 40s. But 50s is ridiculous for January. It's ridiculous. But, again, this is what we're seeing because of climate change. This is what all this back and forth weather, this is just another sign of this climate crisis continuing to escalate, and it will continue to get worse. So, thank you for watching this weather update, and have a good night.